Hello, good morning and welcome. This is me. I'm Denise Oliver. This is Empowerment Hour here at CalonFM. How are you all doing this morning? I'm just checking everything's flowing. You know, you need to be sure all your lights are flashing all at the right time and everything like that. And everything looks cool to me. So, yes, how is everyone? Hope you're all well. It is a bit chillier, isn't it? The sky is blue. There's lots of lovely fluffy clouds. The sun is shining and it's a bit chillier. I'm rubbing my hands because they feel that bit chilly. And my guest this morning is Ben Calder. And Ben, you've not been in the studio with us for ages, have you now?
It's probably been at least a year, maybe 18 months, 2 years even. Yeah,
no.
Sure.
No, it can't be that long, surely.
It's been almost a year
since
since
while.
I've seen
Let's just say it's been a while. So I put out on social media this morning that you were coming in, that we're going to talk about Qigong, and that you're just back from Poland.
Yep.
Where do we start? What would you like to start with?
What would I like to start with?
I'll tell you what, just tell me just briefly, what is Qigong? So in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, it's an easy form of Tai Chi. It's a mindful movement practice.
I said it was probably a bit like Tai Chi.
Yeah.
People tend to know what that is, but not that particular word, Qigong.
That's right.
Am I even saying it correctly?
Yeah, Qigong. Again, I'm sure that classic Chinese speakers would tell us that maybe we could pronounce it much better than that. But yeah, for the purposes of us Westerners, Qigong is close enough. And it's a very interesting practice because a lot of people recognize Tai Chi but don't realize that technically that's a martial art and
Sure.
is part of the Qigong process.
Okay.
But Qigong in itself, there's over sort of 3,000 forms of Qigong, and it's been used as a health practice throughout China for a good 3,000 years now.
And how did you get into it?
By accidentally meeting my first teacher of Qigong, who was also called Ben, who was a man in his 80s at that point, at an exhibition of kind of holistic healing and health when I was 15 years old, and he started teaching me how to stand. And so standing practice is a core aspect of Qigong. An amazing way of aligning yourself, energizing yourself, helping to meditate and condition your body at the same time. And I then kind of have just been on and off on it now for about 28 years. And giving my age away a little bit for those of you that are quick at your maths.
I can't add up, so you're fine.
And for the last 10 years or so, I've really been kind of dedicating myself, and the last few years training in LifeForce Qigong, which is a system that my brother developed, again, over his experience of the last 25 years or so, which is an amazing kind of health practice. And so I've just been doing the advanced level known as Shen, which is all about bringing the energy of the body up into the mind to access the spirit of the universe. So powerful stuff.
That doesn't sound wonderful at all. Welcome back to the studio. It's good to have you here. You're looking really well. Was the weather good in Poland?
It was beautiful.
Yeah?
We were actually in this really old 19th century palace in the countryside, about midway between Warsaw and Krakow. And so there was lakes and trees and land.
Sounds terrible.
It was awful, honestly. I didn't have a good time at all.
So how long were you there for?
We were there for a week, which they're pretty intense days. We would start, our first practice would start 2 hours at 7:30 in the morning, and then we do breakfast, and then we do like a lecture, and then we'd have a lunch break and a little bit of a chill, and then we do another 3-hour session in the afternoon, and then we'd have another break, and then we'd do a final evening session. So sometimes we weren't finishing until like 10 o'clock at night, but it's amazing stuff. This particular training, the Advanced Shen module, and there are 3 kind of primary modules within LifeForce Qigong. The first, the Jing module, focuses on clearing old patterns out of the physical body. The second, the Qi module, focuses on going into the 5-element organs within Chinese medicine, clearing out the emotional residues.
Yeah.
And the advanced module, the Shen, is going into what are known as the 8 extraordinary vessels. And this is clearing out your ancestral patterns and clearing out out all of the deepest traumas and residues that you've been hanging on to for your whole life that interfere with you doing what you're meant to do in your life, what the blueprint of your life's possibility is, and getting you back on track. So it was some really deep stuff, but it was amazing. I'm like, the whole top of my head, it's like somebody's opened up this massive lantern to the world, and I feel phenomenal today.
I love it that there's so many different possibilities out there in terms of therapies, modalities, whatever word you want to use, that if you're ready and you step into it, you just get a change that you never thought was possible, that you never ever thought you might experience.
Yes.
And so what for you do you get has actually changed on all of those levels you've just mentioned?
I mean, I think the first and most important thing with Qigong is the fact that a lot of us are very disconnected from our bodies.
Yeah.
So we have a proprioceptive system, which is what kind of checks in on our balance. We have what's known as exteroceptive, which is our senses, our eyes, skin, smell, touch, all the rest of that. But we also have what's known as the interoceptive system, which is our gut feeling. And most of us are deeply out of connection with that. It's all related into the vagus nerve and the response that has through all the organs, and a lot of us just have no idea what's going on, and yet 90% of our parasympathetic nervous system is in free nerve endings in that vagus nerve, and we have no idea what it's telling us. So Qigong initially really gets you in touch with how the past has contracted into your body and you've kind of limited potential within your body, and being able to feel yourself again, being able to encourage energy and flow and movement both physically and subtly through those tissues, and really embody the body, really feel it, and that changes the kinds of choices you make, how you move, how you experience phenomena that you are in the world around you, because you're not trying to deal with it at the level of mind. You're actually really deeply connected into the body, and again, as an access queen, you'll know fully that we are. So many people just aren't listening to that. So this is actually like a movement practice that really gets you back into that space, and you literally start to feel parts of yourself that you've never felt before.
Yeah, exactly. And there's that whole thing of we just don't get our bodies, do we?
No.
We just forget that they are part of who we are. We sort of lug them around from day to day.
Sure.
And don't actually acknowledge them.
Sure.
Aren't grateful for them. We don't like the height of them, the shape of them, all of those sorts of things. And we're so horrible to our bodies daily.
Yes.
Well, minute by minute, I think in some cases.
Yeah.
And I love Access Consciousness for it bringing me back to my body and what it desires. But I'm not there 100%, and I get how a practice like you've just done, what you've been doing since you were 15, is another add-on to all of that, because bodies like to move. I can't keep mine still. I'm doing it now.
Sure,
my hands have to move. I'm not good at sitting still. If I'm asked to sit still, I have to sit on my hands. So that I get that part of my movement is actually moving energy as well.
Yes.
And when people say to me, well, that's a load of rubbish, it's just like, I can't tell you what energy is.
Sure.
You have to get there on your own, and you have to find a modality, if you choose it, if you wish to, that's actually going to work for you. But I know it's there. I can feel it pulsating in my hands. I've got that tingling. It's there.
Yes.
And I once had a conversation with someone, this is a long time ago, and it's like, it's ready to be birthed as a blog. And I said to this person, I said, so you don't believe in energy? I said, so what colour is the wind? And they looked at me like, what? I said, what colour is the wind? He's like, it hasn't got a colour. I said, no, it hasn't, but where is it? When do you see it?
Yeah.
If you want to see everything, you don't see everything.
Yeah.
Scientists know that subatomic particles exist, but they can't see them.
Absolutely.
And it's the same principle. Energy's energy.
And it's also about the definition. So one of the things that we look at within LifeForce Qigong is the fact that every time you move one of your joints in your body, because of some of the residues of minerals in there, the crystalline structure that sits inside the joint creates a piezoelectric current. So you actually get mild electric currents that come just from movement, which is one of the reasons why a sedentary lifestyle isn't so healthy for us, because these electrical currents actually help with communication and other functions through the connective tissue, through the fascia. So it's not that we're talking about some spurious idea of energy. It's about being able to say, well, what is it that's actually driving your nerve function, driving those physical functions, and how can that improve? And it's amazing how easily, I mean, my brother is a master. I love working with him, and he can give almost anybody a palpable experience of their own bioenergy within minutes.
Wow.
Just by getting them to move. And there were the two of these 8 vessels, these 8 extraordinary vessels that we were clearing, which were the yin and yang Wei Mai. And they come with 2 really interesting questions, because they're about our action in the world. No, actually, sorry, it's the Chow Mai, not the Wei Mai, the Chow Mai. They're about our action in the world and how we present ourselves. And he asked us 2 really easy questions, one for the yin, one for the yang. And the yin question is, if you could be anybody, who would you be? And the yang question is, if you could be anywhere geographically, where would you be? And the trick answer to the both of them is, if you could be anybody and the answer isn't myself, then there's an imbalance in that energy. And if you could be anywhere and it isn't here right now, there's an imbalance, because you're not happy with this space, and so you can't act through it. And therefore you actually disempower that part of yourself, because you're wishing to be something or somewhere else. So you don't have access to all the qualities that you do have.
It's interesting, because as you said them, I thought, let me listen to this. So I got me to the first one, and I got here to the second one. Sure. And it's like, it can't be that simple. Yes. And it is.
It is, sure. Which, beautiful, well done. No imbalance in that.
Well, I'm sure we could find something somewhere.
Well, those 2 sound good, though,
So Ben and I are talking about all sorts of things, and he's got lots of things to tell you of stuff that's coming up. So days in May, a Bars Day in April, and also we are just having a little discussion amongst ourselves about a photograph that I saw him put on social media, and it's a picture of you lying down, park bench. Or was this at your castle?
I have to say, I was lying on the jetty of the lake of the palace.
Oh, okay.
In the sun.
As you do.
Sunbathing, looking after myself.
And you have your neck resting on what did you call it? A gravity neck rest.
Yeah, it's a gravity cradle is the term for it. And what you can't see in the picture as well is I'm also on a triangular part of it called a keystone that sits underneath my sacrum, so at the base of my spine.
Yeah.
And essentially what it's doing is it's floating you between those 2 points and allowing the neck and the spine and the hips to release and realign. So it was developed a couple of years ago, actually up here in Chester, and was there for people with back and neck problems and anything from headaches to sleep problems to inflammatory pain, especially good for people that are driving a lot, for sports people, people that have had old injury, old trauma, and it's just anybody that's got stress, isn't sleeping, and it's just really, really good at resetting the spine. And so I always take it traveling with me, because if I've been on a long car journey, long train journey, long plane journey, and then you're staying in a place where maybe the pillow or the mattress don't quite suit you, it's just a way of always being able to reset my spine and help it to be in the best alignment. So especially like when I'm doing the Qigong training, I don't want to use my practice time getting over my travel.
Sure.
So I want it to be advancing me. So the gravity was a way essentially of resetting from the travel and clearing out any residue from the travel.
And how long, on average, would you spend lying with that?
So Gravity as an organisation recommend that you spend about 20 minutes on it, but depending on what I feel I need, I'll spend anywhere between about 10 and 20 on there. And I don't use it every day now. I kind of just tend to use it when I need to, but it can be used comfortably up to twice a day. And so it just... It's this mysterious kind of way of holding. It's a little bit like a cranial sacral treatment, in the fact that as you're getting held, the whole body goes into this parasympathetic relax, release, restore kind of mode and settles. And I mean, I often feel like I'm going to go to sleep on it, and that's always my signal to get off, because I don't want to fall asleep on it.
Okay.
For me, it's if I stay on it longer than about 25 minutes, it's more than I need, and so I kind of just let my body do what it needs to, but I go into such deep relaxation with it. It's quite meditative in its process.
Yeah, I was thinking that if somebody was doing short meditation, it's a way of connecting the body mind in some way.
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And it's such a light little thing as well. It comes in its own little bag, so it's really easy to carry around and stuff.
So how did you come across it?
So through the Bowen Technique organisation, it's actually the first product in the history of the College of Bowen Technique that they and the College of the College of Bowen Studies. Let me get that the right way around. It's the first product they've really endorsed.
Okay.
So they were approached to take a look at it, and in fact, about 2 years ago, it was on Dragon's Den, and the Dragons weren't interested. And since then, it's gone on to internationally win loads of awards and is like doing super well. So the Dragons aren't always right.
Yeah, they didn't get it.
They
That's
missed
all.
out on that one.
Yeah.
And when the College of Bowen Studies tested it and inspected it, they were really impressed with how effective it was and saw it as a really good complement to Bowen Technique, because it gave people their own control. They didn't have to come back for as many sessions. They found that the sessions that they were having better impact because they were able to support that themselves at home with just a simple, easy home protocol. And so the College of Bowen Studies, we now recommend it. And so all of my Bowen clients, I now give them a Gravity leaflet. And because I'm connected with Gravity, you can get an extra discount on me as well. So all you have
Sounds
to do,
cool.
all you have to do is use code INTEGRAL, which obviously is there for my centre for Integral Health down in Shrewsbury. And when you put the code in at the checkout, I'll give you an extra £10 off the retail price, which is normally £79, so you can get it for £69.
So where do we go to find it? What's the website?
gravitylife.com.
gravitylife.com. I'm getting one.
They're brilliant.
I'll be there later. I'll be ordering that later.
Yeah.
Who's it most suitable for?
Back and neck pain sufferers, headaches, people with a lot of stress who have difficulty relaxing, anybody with hip pains.
Is there anyone it's not suitable for? So I'm thinking pregnancy, children.
I think always pregnancy is a good one to just double check with a physician before using. But apart from that, open head wounds are the only things that generally, or anybody that's got a compression or a break or anything else serious in the cervical spine and the neck, that again I would just double check with a clinician before using that. But the Gravity Life website itself has got a massive list of frequently asked questions about conditions that it can and can't be used with. So for some of the best information, it's worth just going and checking on the website.
Sounds like it would be one of those things that after, say, a yoga session, when you come to do that relaxation at the end, this would it'd be brilliant.
Basically, after any exercise class, and especially anything where you've done any kind of high intensity, high compression, say spinning or heavy aerobics or something like that, because again, it just gives that relaxation side to it. Again, gardeners, perfect if you've been in the garden, weird twisty behaviors, and lifting stuff. It's that reset for the body as well. It's I love it. This is the first time my brother had a chance to use it when we were in Poland, and again, he travels around the world a lot, and he'd had a bit of a crick in his neck and his shoulders, and the first night he used it, he said it was nice and things are improving, and then after the second night he just went, that's it, it's sorted it, and he went, can I keep this one? So I had to leave mine with him in Poland, and I've got to, as I only got back last night, I've got to reorder one for myself today as well.
And what's it made from? What are we looking at in terms of material?
It's the cradle itself is plastic, and then the padding in it is like a soft sort of foam that goes in there, and the little bobbles that you'll see when you look at the keystone and the cradle itself are all slightly different heights, and so they adjust around, and it's a one size fits all. So it doesn't matter if you've got small neck, big neck, you kind of adjust it around to fit you, and they really are remarkable.
Yeah,
I love them.
You do, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be getting one later. So we've talked a lot about Qigong and gravity neck rests, gravity cradle for your neck. Gravity cradle. And if you do want one after listening to what he's just said, you go to gravitylife.com and you put in the code integral and you'll get £10 off. Is that a forever discount?
As far as I'm aware, until they tell me that it isn't, it is definitely a forever. That's for sure.
Cool. Something that you've got coming up is something that's going to be happening in Shrewsbury in May, and it's May the 18th.
That's right.
So tell us all about this new Free From festival that's coming up.
Well, that's exactly it. So this is the first year at the West Midlands Showground in Shrewsbury that they will be having the festival. So it's a family-friendly Free From festival, and there's going to be a whole series of things there, everything from cooking, learning, eating, drinking, playing, all with a free from theme. So things like low carb, vegan, dairy, gluten-free, healthy lunchbox, free from technology, a children's area that's all about being free from kind of electricity and, just more natural stuff again, sugar-free, free from chocolates, all sorts of stuff like that. And Centre for Integral Health, we're going to have a stand there where we're going to be doing epigenetic body typing testing, and I'm going to be giving a lecture on allergies and how they develop and why they're so prevalent at the moment, and also on epigenetics and how our genes inform how we respond to stuff and so on. And we've got great things like gluten-free cooking with Legina Masala, who is the most vivacious Indian chef and producer of spices that I've ever seen. We're also going to have things like low carb and paleo inspired cooking with Chris Burt, famous for Momonoki and the work down there in Shrewsbury. And there's going to be a fibromyalgia workshop as well. So we're going to be having like a panel discussion about fibromyalgia, what kind of stuff has helped with that, reducing sugar intake, raw chocolate and meditation, sort of zero environmental impact, anti-plastic stuff. So there's just absolutely loads of stuff going on there regarding kind of the free from concept, really.
What time are you doing your talk?
My talk on the allergies is 12:30 till 1 o'clock.
Okay, so only half an hour to talk about allergies.
I tell you what, it's like now, Denise. You know me, I can get 10 words in, and so I'm going to be doing a whistle-stop tour. What I'll say to everybody is, what I suggest is you film it, play it back slower, because we're just going to head through and do this burn into allergies.
You are the express train of allergies.
I am the extra, but people can always come and talk to me afterwards as well. So I'll be demoing and kind of demonstrating all of that stuff as well, which will be really good for people to see as well.
So is there any link, I haven't looked at any research, so I don't know, between allergies and things like autism?
I mean,
the autism just seems to be growing.
There's definitely research that's indicating that gut dysbiosis is a significant factor within autism. So we find, one of the weirdest pieces of research I've just come across recently is that fecal implants are really helping to regenerate both immune system and gut bacteria within autistics, and seeing changes within their behaviour and their function there. And again, I mean, you may remember that before I was a kinesiologist, my previous life, I used to work with children with extreme behaviour, autism, Down syndrome, learning difficulties, and so on. And there is no doubt that there was massive issues around wheat, around dairy, around sugar with all of those children. And in the work that I've done subsequently since then, when I've worked with children with similar conditions, I've found that when we see the improvement in the diet, when we take out the stuff that the gut isn't metabolizing properly, because we get a lot of weird responses in the gut, and we can create auto-intoxication. So even a lot of mental health issues can actually be put down to a lot of toxicity, which isn't necessarily poisoning. You know, we think maybe of pesticides or of like mercury in the fish or something like that. But even foods that contain something like betaine, which is naturally occurring in things like sugar beets and beetroot, can have an auto-intoxication for certain people. Things like salicylates or atropine, which is tomato toxin. You know, so for certain people, their bodies, and again, this is genetic basis. This is why the epigenetics is so important. People just don't metabolize them. Like I know I don't metabolize casein and alpha-solanine. Alpha-solanine is found in the nightshade family. Yeah. So if I eat those, especially the alpha-solanine, I get much more arthritic-y pains, and I actually start putting on like water retention weight, that as soon as I come off the solanines, the weight goes and the arthritis symptoms go. And so there's a correlation between quite a lot of medical issues around these food toxins, and yet all the foods that are in the groups are things that you would see as natural, healthy, but just for you as an individual might be contraindicated.
Yeah, there's so many foods that I know my body just doesn't know what to do with.
Sure, exactly.
And I can't explain that to anyone. I just know it.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of stuff I just don't have in the house anymore.
Yeah,
it just doesn't work for me. So it's not going to work for anyone else as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
At home.
Yeah,
just
sure.
at home.
Well, you know, the person who does the shopping gets to choose there, don't
and the
they?
shopping
Sure.
and the cooking.
Yeah, sure.
And then everyone just sneaks in what they like.
Exactly, and that's fair, isn't it? Yeah, sure.
Oh, it's totally fair. I don't have a problem with that at all. So remind us of the date and where this festival is going to be.
So that's May the 18th. It's the West Midlands Showground in Shrewsbury, and that's the festival, the Free From Festival. And the Facebook group is one of the best places to come and find information about that. But you can also, I think it's festival.co.uk to go through, and you can pick up tickets and so on for that.
So there is an entry.
Yes, there
charge.
Is, but it's pretty moderate.
Yeah, that's cool. So let's go back to what you're doing. So is there anything else on Qigong you want to tell us about?
Yeah, so
yeah
always. So for people that have never tried Qigong before, really important to go out and find yourself a class. Go and join a teacher. Remember, there are lots of different styles, lots of different ways of teaching, and lots of different levels of practice. But just to go out and do a bit of mindful movement, Tai Chi, Qigong, beautiful practice to do. And then on the 19th of May, so the day after the festival, I'm going to be doing a whole day of practice in Shrewsbury, and I do a series of what are called 5 element days. So these relate to the Chinese 5 elements, and they all have a season. So in May we'll be actually technically moving into the summer season practice, and that's all around the heart, so dealing with all of our love and joy and what it takes
or lack of it. If you have lack of it, turn up.
Experience all of that. And it's also fire element as well. So it's that passion and motivation in life. So we're going to be doing practices to clear and tonify and boost the energy within the heart and really kind of strengthen the body and build that up. So I'm really looking forward to delivering that the day after the festival. Obviously, we're going to be doing the festival. And then before that, just at the end of this month, on the 26th, I'm running an Access Bars 1-day certified practitioner training down in Shrewsbury. And as you know, Bars is awesome. I almost go into my talking to puppies voice then. Hello, aren't you cute? It's like doing Access Bars is like so exciting. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
So how does Access Bars and what you know of Access Consciousness and the Qigong, how do they marry together for you?
So I guess more than anything, they're all about clearing the old grot that we're hanging on to.
That's a good word.
Yeah, sure. It is. Yeah. It's. I'm sure my mother's going to love me for saying this, but that's how she used to refer to underwear. You know, have you got rid of your grots? You know, it's kind of like when you raise the three boys. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure. But,
there's lots of grot around.
Lots of grot.
I only had
sure.
2, and that was enough.
So I love the fact that both of them are a clearing process. And especially with this advanced work that I've just been doing over in Poland, one of the channels, this main central channel that we've been clearing, which has the beautiful name Chongmai, is all about our potential. It's our blueprint, but it's also the place where our deepest traumas get lodged and get in the way of who we could be, who we have the potential to be.
Yeah.
So, and I see that parallel within Access as well, that as we clear away all of these layers of stuff, we reveal this person, this energy, this potential that we all have to create, to contribute to the universe. And I was on the flight back yesterday, I'm reading this beautiful book at the moment called Nourishing Destiny, which is by an integral acupuncturist from America called Lonnie Jarrett, and he was talking about just how heaven, and in his words, the Tao, the nature of the universe, the potential of the universe, is going to express itself anyway. And if it can't do it through you, it doesn't care. It will just find another avenue to express it. But it's given you a seed of itself to express. And it just wants to create life. It wants to kind of grow and expand and become something even more than it already is. It's its own exploration of its own potential.
Yeah.
And that clearing of Chongmai is allowing us to get into that space. And again, that similarity, that bars is just getting rid of all of the nonsense that we tell ourselves that we can't, we shouldn't, we're not capable, we're not good enough, blah, 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 you know.
And the stuff that keeps us anxious and stressed and really not able to express who we truly be.
Yeah.
That was what I got from the bars. I'm going to see if I'm free on the 19th of May to come to your Qigong Day, because
Cool.
I'd love to do that. I love Chinese 5 elements. I came across that in the nutritional healing course I did way back when.
Yeah.
And I still go back to it now
Yeah.
with the seasons, the colours, the emotions, whatever's coming up.
Yeah.
And the combination of those two for me, for myself, is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. How much time have we got? We've still got 3-ish minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes. What else do you want to tell us about? What else is coming up for Ben? What are you moving into?
What am I moving into? Well, I mean, I've just come back out of having done another one of my shadow workshops as well. And it's one of the things that I've done earlier this year is that actually for Cartefi Conwy, who are a housing association over in Conwy, I went over and I delivered a series of sessions for housing association residents to actually help them manage stress. And I was teaching them some access tools in there, teaching them a bit of shadow work, how to not be as reactive to people and situations, how to be able to look at ourselves a little bit more. And so I'm kind of keen to kind of take the shadow on the road and encourage different groups, different organizations that would like to see improvements in their management strategies, that would like to see improvements in workplace relationships, that would like to see changes in how people are connecting and dealing with each other, especially in environments that can be stressful.
Yeah.
And kind of teaching them just some basic ways and tools of being able to for a start off, be kinder to each other, be kinder to themselves, just have that greater awareness that rarely is the world doing a thing to you. A lot of the time we're doing it to ourselves, and that if we can just shift that perspective, and again, this is another lovely part of Access, just interesting point of view, just change that point of view so that we can see it from a different direction and not feel so limited by it, and actually start to find creative ways to be able to overcome things. And the sessions that I did with Kartefi Komwi, it was beautiful in that there was a lady there who had some learning difficulties and was really struggling with the neighbour that lived underneath her. So, and it was a lot of stuff just going on in her head. And it was beautiful in the weeks that we were working together. And I was only going in for 2 hours, small group of people, and started getting her to think about this situation in a different way. And by the third week, she said, "Do you know what? I see her, and it doesn't bother me anymore." And she was avoiding going out of her house in case she bumped into her. She was avoiding going to certain places in her community because she'd seen her there. And that just disappeared. So, to give people greater access to life, to allow them to embrace their life more and really enjoy it. And again, coming back to that question of, if I could be anybody, who would I want to be? I want to be myself.
Yeah.
And if I could be anywhere, where do I want to be? I want to be here doing the things that excite me and make me passionate and, make me get up in bed in the morning and go,
and go, what else? What else
Not that I'm
today?
excitable after all the Qigong or anything, honestly.
Not at all.
Never.
Not that you're bouncing around like a little spring bunny or anything. No, not at all. So we are at the end of the show, Ben. Thank you so much.
Denise,
it's been ages since I've seen you, so grateful to you coming in.
Thank you so much.
Everyone who's listened today. If you wish to listen again, you can do so from tomorrow afternoon. All you have to do is go to CalonFM.com and go to the Listen Again service, look for Empowerment Hour, click on that, and then click on the little bar with the arrow, and you can hear the show in totality for the coming week. Yay! How does it get any better? Thank you, everyone, for listening. Love you loads, and I'll be back next week. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.